All right, today's subject is sleep. So sleep is a huge factor in how our bodies can actually reach the goals that we're looking for, especially when it comes to high stress circumstances like caloric deficit and high external stress from the workouts or anything else, or high stress life. Sleep is what's going to help you to overcome that. And so here's a few strategies to help out with increasing the sleep quality and efficiency in order for you to get a better night's sleep. So, starting, sleep schedule. So the big thing that I want you to understand is if we can set a sleep schedule, and by that I mean getting to bed at the same time each night and getting up in the morning at the same time each day, your body's going to be able to set its natural circadian rhythm, which is what's on the next one there. So our circadian rhythm allows your body to pulse specific hormones at times that it needs to in order to allow your body to get into the best sleep cycles it possibly can. The circadian rhythm is not only just for sleep, but also for your digestive system as well, your ANS. So that would be the third point here of limiting water and food. So when we're talking about the amount of water you should take in throughout the day, typically I shoot for about a gallon to a gallon and a half, and that's just plain water. But I try to tell most of my people to get that water in before about noon, or at least the majority of that water in before noon, only because of the fact that if we're getting it in later in the afternoon, closer to your bedtime, you're going to end up waking up to go to the bathroom, and that's going to mess with that circadian rhythm. And that's going to mess with the quality of your sleep. And the big thing that we're worried about is making sure that we're getting through all of the sleep cycles that your body goes through in the night, because each one of those stages of sleep actually have their own benefits. Some have benefits for cognition, some have benefits for memory. They all have their individual benefits. And so we want to make sure that we're optimizing that circadian rhythm, we're optimizing how your body responds, and we're allowing your body to pulse things like melatonin throughout the day in order to get you a high enough amount of melatonin at the right time to go to sleep. And so setting that sleep schedule and being within that circadian rhythm and limiting water and food so that your body's not processing and your body's not messing with those circadian rhythms is going to help you increase your quality of sleep. Now, when we're talking about food, I'm not talking about cutting off food at noon. What I'm talking about is I don't want a massive meal before you go to bed. Massive meals before you go right to sleep actually will help mess up your circadian rhythms as well. Besides that, it also messes with the fact that now you've got a large mass sum of food in your digestive system that your body's trying to process throughout the night, which is also not good. So we want to make sure that we don't have a massive meal before bed. But as I pointed out here in the fourth one, we do want to make sure that your last meal does have quite a bit of protein. And the reason behind that is protein is going to have a satiety and allow your body to actually be able to get through the night without waking up hungry or having any of those issues. And we've got other hormones that are released just from taking in a protein-rich meal before bed. I typically will try to shoot for something that has some sort of either casein protein or a combination of protein with dietary fats before bed, just to help out with that satiety aspect. The next one that I wanted to point out, and probably one of the biggest ones that I have an issue with, and the majority of people that I know have issues with, is caffeine. So caffeine is a very great stimulatory aspect for our bodies, right? It helps out, it gets us through our days, and I love it just as much as you do. When I'm running 14 or 15 hour days, I need it. But the thing that most people don't understand is that caffeine has a 4 to 5 hour half-life. So when you take in a 300 milligram pre-workout caffeine dose, which is what most pre-workouts are now, 4 to 5 hours later, you still have 150 milligrams of caffeine in your system. So think about that. If we're gonna go to bed at 8 o'clock and you train at 5 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, you still have 150 milligrams of caffeine in your system. So you're gonna still be wired, you're gonna still be awake, and you're not allowing your body to use and get into its circadian rhythms, and you're messing with those melatonin levels and not allowing your body to get into that good restful sleep. So caffeine needs to be cut. Realistically, the way that I look at it is majority of people go to sleep at about 8 o'clock. So anywhere from 8 to 10. So realistically, your caffeine probably should be cut by noon or 1. If you think about it that way, let's say you take in 300 milligrams of caffeine, cut it out by noon, you've got 150 milligrams by 4, and then by 8, now we've got no caffeine in your system, right? So think about that, or 75 milligrams of caffeine in your system. So if we really think about that, that allows our bodies to actually get to a point where we're able to overcome that and get into good sleep patterns. Massive amounts of caffeine and even workouts right before you go to sleep are not going to help out with good, restful sleep. And that's one point that I actually did not put on here, is from a training standpoint. Training itself is very sympathetic. Training itself is very high stress. So if you're doing a really, really, really heavy, hard workout right before you go to bed, your body's probably going to be wired for the next couple hours. Your body doesn't understand lifting weights is lifting weights. Your body thinks you're running from an animal or you're about to die. That's what lifting is. It's a stress on your body. And so now we're going to be in a sympathetic state, and it takes a while for our bodies to get out of that sympathetic state after we train. So with that being said, doing hard, heavy workouts right before bed is also not necessarily optimal. Is it necessary? Some people's schedule, yes. But just keep in mind that if you can move your training earlier in the day, that'd be better. The next one, and these last two are ones that I've slowly implemented a lot with my clients, and I also implement myself, and that is cutting electronics. That's TV, that's cell phones, that's computer work, that's all of that stuff. Try to cut that about an hour before bed. If we can cut out those aspects of that specific light, then that's going to allow our body to get into that natural circadian rhythm. Whenever we've got all these lights around us, especially after the sun goes down, our body naturally is not going to allow ourselves to get into that circadian rhythm we're trying to get into. And so if we can cut out a lot of these electronics an hour before bed, that's going to allow your body to actually shift into those states. Rules that I kind of have personally is I put my cell phone in a completely other room, because I know I'm not the only person that if my cell phone goes off, the first thing I need to do is I need to go check it. So if I can't hear it or I can't see it, I won't check it. And so it goes into another room when I'm going to go to bed. The other thing, and this is something that I'm trying to do, but my wife loves to watch TV before bed, is get a TV out of your bedroom. So electronics out of your bedroom. Do things like reading or something that doesn't need an electronic before you go to bed to ease your mind and allow your body to get into that almost meditative-like state to go to sleep. And then finally, one thing that I actually do use, if you're like me and you're up working late and you're around computers all the time and stuff like that, is once the sun goes down, typically what I try to do is I actually try to put my glasses on. So I actually have reading glasses, I've got contacts too, but I've got reading glasses, but the reading glasses, and it's cool, the prescriptions that they have now actually have blue light protectors in there now if you ask for it. And so I'll actually wear those blue light glasses once the sun goes down to allow my body to block that specific stream of light and allow my body to get into those circadian rhythms. If your body's constantly bombarded by the electronics and the lights around us, fluorescent lights and whatever it might be, that's going to mess with the circadian rhythms as well. So using something that blocks that specific light will allow you to get into sleep better. Hope all these tips help you guys. Hope you guys start getting some restful sleep, and we'll see you later.